Well, a day before Rise. That won't mean much to too many people, but welcome back. You getting excited?
Oh, dude, I can't wait. It's in the best place on the planet. It's in San
Yeah,
Diego.
no doubt. No
It
doubt.
doesn't get much better than that, man. So yeah, I can't wait to go there. It'll be fun.
Well, this is part two. Um, Freedom of time. Again, what we're talking about is designing and funding the ideal lifestyle that you have for yourself, the ideal purpose ultimately of your life. Um, and it's unfortunate how many lives fall short of that in our country. But it's a function of the system and the conditioning that we go through. And we aim to help those that want to do the work to break out of that, right?
Yep. I actually just had a conversation with one of my friends from high school, and kind of along those lines, I was like, dude, we have a lot of resources and a lot of like ways forward to help people achieve that type of lifestyle or their desired lifestyle. And I came from this perspective. It's almost like selfish of me, like not to share it with people and not to give them the chance, right, to analyze it and make their own decision.
Well, in our initial collaborative conversation is really just that. It's like, look, we care, but what you decide isn't going to have any impact or bearing on us because we're doing what we're doing.
Yep.
And again, to your point, it's almost selfish of us to not share what we've been fortunate enough to have shared with us, which is the way to create that and fund that ultimate lifestyle and purpose for our lives. But ultimately, it's their decision.
Yep. And I
And at
actually,
least my conscience is clear for having shared it.
yep. And I actually left him with that. I said, look, dude, I know we know each other. We've got history. I said, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings if you decide not to do this or go a different direction. It's like, but it's my duty to at least give you the opportunity to step into it.
Duty, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Duty as a citizen, duty as a human being. And we ain't in high school cliques anymore. So I'm not here for this ain't a popularity contest.
Yeah.
This is dadgum getting serious and doing something um, unbelievable, spectacular with our lives. And you will get to freedom of relationships later. But well, I mean, this is all about who anyway. So the who is a leverage point. It is a proximity to success. It is access to resources that and other relationships that you wouldn't ordinarily have. It's just amazing the network that exists as you consider this shift in your mindset.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to take to succeed. So, in review, again, freedom of time, and we talk about this all the time. There is an I say unbelievable or astounding or what all these things adjectives a lot of times, but it does blow me away. The more clear things are to us, the lack of general clarity out there, and the lack of or the predominance, I should say, of a mindset that we no doubt previously participated in. But the world is a competitive place. We're not going to change that. What we are going to change is how people perform and behave within that competitive place. And to just be competitive and to be competing with everybody is going to keep you in a very isolated position. We're talking about a mindset shift from competing to collaborating, from scarcity to abundance, from fear to courage. And that collaboration, that mindset shift creates abundance, it creates expansion, and it ultimately has to start with each of us.
Yep. Yeah, we've got the unique opportunity, unique ability in sharing this information and helping people with that transition.
And so we read this quote. I'll read it again just in review. You live as if you were destined to live forever. No thought of your frailty ever enters your head. of how much time has already gone by you, take no heed. You squander time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply, though all the while that day which you bestow on some person, thing, or activity is perhaps your last. I had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and I just stressed the different perspective on time that I have because of my health scare and challenge. You're to hold me accountable. I'm never going back. I mean, it's a permanent perspective. I don't know that I'll need to be held accountable, but if you see me slipping, um, time is our most precious asset. It's the thing we take the most, what's the word? Take for the most granted.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think the problem for most of us is we don't value our time the way that we think we do. And again, there we're conditioned because we're typically working for someone else. They're telling us the value of our time, and that's the beginning of the spiral. Rather than us saying, and you and I talked about it a few weeks ago, I'm going to make $100,000 a month. That doesn't mean I'm going to work more. That means I'm going to value my time more.
Yeah. And what's interesting is like the more you value your time, um, the higher the worth becomes, and then the higher return you get on it. And I like what you said about people not really having how did you feel like a good perception of time, or at least like how much we have left, or and the health challenge that you had shifted that for you like dramatically, like almost instantly. And I think it was John Maxwell. Don't hold my feet to the fire on it, but someone very smart said that there's only like two things that really change people's perspectives. One is time, and it's just like just going through life, right? Getting beat up in life over time. And the other is like a large event or a traumatic event, such as a health scare or near death experience. So it's unfortunate that like you either have to wait a long time to figure this stuff out, and unfortunately, like some people never figure this out, or you gotta like almost get hit by a bus before you start to realize like, damn, I better get busy.
Well, and when we talk about time and how we um, engage in the life that we're living and how we want to do better, um, I think most people just think they're going to work harder, and as opposed to intentionally creating a space for them to replenish.
Yeah.
Research shows that only 16% of our creative insight happens while we're engaged in work. 84% comes to us when we're engaged in downtime or recreational activities, things like that. So we all need some time and some space, some relaxation and recovery to allow the good ideas that can propel us forward to ferment and form. And this idea of who, not how is about leveraging time and relationships, investing in people, being transformed by the experience, becoming a transformational leader. We've talked about that in the past. And ultimately, it is a new habit, a mindset shift. And how do you avoid the how trap? How do you avoid the how trap?
You have to
It's
ask
all
who.
about the who,
Yeah.
right? And for us, again, our goal is funding our ideal lifestyle by creating a self-managing business made up of collaborative partners that have a vision of their own, have priorities of their own, but they've been engaged and rolled in our vision because ultimately our vision is about helping them achieve theirs. Right.
Yep.
So that's kind of a review. Now this is part two, so we're really not shifting any gears. And so why ask how in the first place? Especially if you're going to do the work that John and I have been doing, you're going to pay attention to the content that we're sharing, because doing so is going to keep you stuck where you are. How is linear. It is not exponential. it is working harder, not working smarter, and you are then therefore stuck with limited results that only you can produce.
Yep.
There's no leverage.
Well,
The interesting thing, go ahead.
I was gonna say I got a perfect example of that. I was just at a networking event, not last night, night before, so 2 nights ago. It was called Finger Licking Chicken. It was like a networking event. We had chicken wings, but yeah, whole nother story around that. Sitting next to an agent, and she like started to build a team, and like one of her agents that was on her team moved to another state, and then another one like quit the industry. So she had three, got down to one, and that experience of having those people leave kind of had her get turned off, right, of wanting to continue down that path, and she kept asking me like how questions, like, well, how do you do this? How can I do that? I don't know how to do this or how to do that. And I said, that's your biggest challenge right there. Like, you got to stop asking how and start asking who. So I said, who can help you put something in place that would yeah, keep people there? Who can help you build your team? Who can help you add more value to the people that you already have? Who can help you increase your retention? Whatever it might be. And I was like, I saw like in her eyes, like almost a light bulb go off. Like when I asked her that question, um, may or may not surprise you. We're going to have a follow up conversation. We're going to dive a bit deeper into that concept. And I'm going to share some other ideas that we have and concepts that have helped us get to where we're at in our mindset. And, ultimately, like we always say, it'll be her decision ultimately where she goes or what she does. But um, I think that's like the bigger picture is like we get to actually help people, we get to share the information. And if it allows her to transform her perspective on building a self-managing team or growing a passive income stream that allows her to live that ideal lifestyle, then I think that's a win-win for everyone.
Well, I'll tell you what, probably the most insightful thing she could say is look at you and say, you might be that who,
Yeah, right. And
right?
that's kind of what I was saying indirectly. It's like you need to find someone who can help you
Like me.
right in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's what we ended up with. Like, hey, let me share with you some of the things that are helping us in an effort to help you.
Well, and interestingly, in contrast, all of us as human beings, our primary motivation is to grow. And we want to enhance our efficacy, big word for just producing an effect, and or our confidence in our ability to do so. We want to be able to produce the desired results. If you start to look at this all correctly, um, we shouldn't take our efficacy literally because there's no leverage in it. Rather, in our potential efficacy or ability to produce results, meaning producing even bigger results than we can produce on our own through leveraging other resources, i.e., who's. And so the way you increase your potential results is through relationships, is through who's, it's not how, which increases both your social and material resources through the proximity that you'll have to the right who's. Now, these resources that these who's bring to the table might be material, might be possessions, might be networks, might be intellectual, might be time, might be money. Doesn't matter. Um, every who will represent a different value, so to speak. But it's therefore the relationships that help us achieve our ultimate efficacy, ability to produce results as an individual. More relationships equal more resources, which equal more results. And different relationships impact results differently. And relationships, therefore, for me, for you, and for them become transformational.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
It's the classic net worth equals your network, right? You've probably heard that a million times. I think
Couple.
this is right. And this is like, I don't want to say the next level of that, but it's a deeper understanding of that and what that
Okay.
really means and how that could really help you. Um, and I think another valuable thing that those relationships and those who's can bring to you, especially if they're who's that are, um, what's a good way to put it? Let's say like they're on the same path that you are, but they're further down, is twofold. One, they can bring additional perspective, right, to what you're doing, give you like more ways forward or potentially like better ways forward. But then also like there's this concept called like blind spots. And basically it just means like you don't know what you don't know. Do you think someone who has walked the path or is like further down the path might be able to help you get there faster or potentially help you avoid pitfalls or mistakes? And I think,
Shine some light on some of those blind spots.
well, I was going to wrap. I think Warren Buffett says, or someone really, really smart says, the highest form of leverage is learning from other people's mistakes. Was a quote I was going to throw out there, but go ahead. What was the question again? Sorry.
Oh no, I just followed up, reiterating. Yeah, those who's are shining light on those blind spots that you have. They're
Right.
not blind spots for them.
Exactly. Right. Because
They were, but
they
they
already
aren't any
know,
longer.
right? And they figured it out. I thought you were asking me to come up with blind spots. I was like, oh no.
No, no, no.
No, you're good.
So we're talking a shift in mindset,
Yep.
and it's going to become cliche if it hasn't already, particularly within this content we're creating. Who, not how, right? But it's vitally important because if you're focused on doing everything yourself, for lots of reasons, the primary reason I hear in a small business owner is they're focused on doing everything themselves because nobody can do it as good or better. I can't tell you how many times how many hours I've spent talking to business owners in previous lives trying to get them past that mindset.
Mhm.
But that is such a dramatically limiting mindset, and an underutilization of the resources at your disposal. It's just wasting them instead of directing them towards the goals and the shared goals. So if your resources are limited, so is your potential. So are your options. So is your future.
Mhm.
So why ask how when your biggest potential results have far more to do with your relationships than with your individual ability? It doesn't logically make any sense once we've removed, to use your point, once we've removed this blind spot, like you're beginning to do with that young lady you were talking to the other day. You're beginning to remove her blind spot, as it relates to how, the questions she was asking over and over again, and shining a light on who. So relationships are how you transform as a leader and person. They are how you transcend, in some cases, self-imposed limitations. They are how you produce results and bigger results. And ultimately, that's our purpose in life. So, how is keeping you at a level you don't want to be and preventing you from going to a level that you do want to be. And ultimately, the most success is done through relationships. And therefore, as you grow, higher and higher levels of success become increasingly about who, not how, and become increasingly uh, more likely.
Yeah. Well, and what I hear and what you're sharing is, relationships are like the highest form of leverage. And don't mistake it for like, it's got to be equal, right? It can't just be like one person's leveraging the other person more. Um, in order for that partnership to be valuable and extremely productive for everyone involved, it's got to be an equal partnership. So, like, you're a who for someone, just like they're a who for you. You guys can leverage each other to then collaborate and create those like exponential results that you're talking about.
And it really, I mean, you can almost sense the transformation going on as you get better at habitually practicing the mindset that we're talking about. I mean, we've got examples of that all over the place. So for this reason, it's for this reason that you absolutely must shift if you want to realize your ultimate absolute potential. You must shift from who, or from how, to who in everything that you do. If you want freedom, freedom of time, money, relationships, and purpose. You want to fund your ideal lifestyle. I mean, I don't want that to become cliche. We say ideal lifestyle, we mean your ideal lifestyle. If you don't know what that is, do some research on, well, I don't want to just say wealthy people, but hopefully you've got people in your lives that are living a lifestyle similar to what your ideal would be. Because I know that's certainly a part of, and I got a video I can send you if you don't. Rick Miller, 2 years of Rick Miller's life is pretty much my ideal lifestyle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so I have a vision because I've observed it. But to achieve all of that, you're just going to have to find more who's to do all the hows. There's a pause. You're not going to take it. Cool.
You got it. Keep going. You're on a roll.
And we keep talking about leverage, leverage, leverage. So if you are leveraging who's that are enrolled in your vision as a way to achieve their own freedom, then you're a very important who to them. You provide a mission through which they build confidence in their ability to participate in something bigger than themselves and to realize their ultimate potential, which is kind of what you were alluding to a minute ago. Mm-hmm. The more who's that you enroll in your vision, the more successful you will become in pursuing that vision. Now, here's a quote. I got the person and the quote. Zig Ziglar said, you can have everything in life you want if what?
You help enough people get what they want.
You help enough other people get what they want. It has become cliche, but most cliches are pretty founded in truth. So your relationships and resources enable your collaborators to get what they want and need. And listen, the research is clear. It's your relationships, not your willpower, that enable you to achieve your ultimate purpose. So given these facts, it also stands to reason that you increase your self-expansion, your self-efficacy, your ability to achieve results by increasing the number of collaborative partnerships that you have. Every professional relationship can be viewed as teamwork directed towards a shared vision.
Yeah. And
you ready? Go.
I was just adding to that, and to summarize it, kind of what I heard was like, there's only so much one person can do. And if you are stuck in the how mentality, it's continually focused on you and what you can do. You only got 24 hours in the day. You got to sleep some, and there's only
you got to sleep a lot.
I mean, you're supposed to. And there's like I said, there's only so much one person can do. So I mean, if you're focused on the how, you're focused on yourself, and you're focused on that limiting belief, the limiting structure of only your thoughts, only your resources, only the things that you can do personally. Again, just that how will keep you stuck. The who starts to open up exponential pathways and results for you.
Well, we haven't even gotten into this in this context, but we talk about it all the time. And if we were reverse engineer it at some level, most people are employees, which means they're somebody else's leverage. I'm curious, as an employee, how many of you have the leaders of your companies that have come to you and said, gee, what's your ideal lifestyle and how do we help you fund it? Probably doesn't happen. So now you're enrolled in some sort of vision. They're defining the value of your time. You can only earn what they're willing to pay you and what you can, based on what you can get accomplished by yourself. And it's probably not linked to your own personal potential and dreams and goals and ultimate lifestyle, but it sure is likely fueling and feeding theirs.
Yep.
I hope you're starting to put it all together. So ask yourself, where are you lacking collaboration and teamwork? Where is your vision so small that you're doing everything yourself? I love that statement. Where is your vision so small that you're doing everything yourself? Because if you're doing everything yourself, 80% of it is either a waste of time, you shouldn't be doing it. If you were only doing 20% of it, how much bigger would your vision get? So, where is your vision so small that you're doing everything yourself? Where do you need more who's to help you accomplish what you ultimately want to do? I just gave you a clue. Wherever your vision is so small that you're doing everything yourself. What relationships do you already have that are being underutilized? And do you leverage who's in your personal life more effectively than in your business? Now, as you start to shift your mindset from how to who, you can't help but evolve as a professional, even as a human being, particularly if you keep in mind that you are actively um, behaving or delivering as a who to someone else. Make it equal, or actually give more, because you'll always get more than you give. You cannot possibly give more than you can get, right?
Yep.
So this evolution of self-expansion allows for the necessary change to your identity, to your perspectives, to the available resources, which in turn grows your freedoms, time, money, relationships, and purpose. And I'm going to end with this quote and let you fill in how you'd like. But our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brain is looking for.
I like that quote. Say it. Can you say it again? One more time.
Sure. Our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brain is looking for. Who's programming our brain?
I like that.
We are. At least we better be. So
Well,
that wraps up freedom of time. How do you want to close it out?
I just want to, so two things. And I want to reemphasize that, like, who do you already have around you, right? Relationship wise, that you might not be utilizing this way. I think that's an easy play, easy button, easy word, whatever. But I think that's an easier place to start. And then I'm actually going to issue a challenge. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm
Uh-oh.
going to issue a challenge. Next time you catch yourself saying how, stop and rephrase the question as to who. So instead of how can I do this, who can help me do this, and see if that
Well,
starts
and
to
no, I
shift.
love that. I absolutely love that. And I'll tell you how I'm going to follow that up. We are actively and aggressively looking for more who's to expand and achieve our vision, helping you achieve your vision. And if you ask yourself or catch yourself asking how and aren't sure where the shift in your mindset should take you next, what should they do?
Ask them who.
No, reach out to us. Let's have a collaborative conversation. That's why we're doing all this. That's the role we want to help you achieve, the mindset shift we want to help you achieve. And we just might find out that we're a who to you and that you would be a who to us. And we've got some mutual things to collaborate on. We might find out that we don't. I can promise you we won't find out at all if we don't have a collaborative conversation. And what an opportunity that might be that we both miss if we don't take that action. So I love that challenge.
Yep. And I'll say this too. If you watch this entire video, you probably liked it. So go click the like button. If you
Please, please.
right, right. So and if you listen to it and this resonates with you, in addition to reaching out to us, share it with someone else that might be able to help them shift their mind.
That might be a who to you.
You can start being a who to other people, right? And in turn, who's will show up for you. We got to do like there's got to be like a Dr. Seuss thing that we can do with all this. And we'll figure out how to incorporate all that. And then lastly,
It means you're gonna have to dress up.
I dress up every day. So, and lastly, I would say if you wanted to stay up to date on the conversation, how this progresses, subscribe so that we get notified when we put out a new video, and you could be right on the cutting edge with this information that we're sharing.
And there's also a place for comments. Listen, if you've got a question out of any of this content, I promise you, you're not the only one that has that question.
Mhm.
So again, to John's point, when you're giving, be a who to someone, ask that question. They will be grateful. We'll answer it for both of you or all of you, or we'll get an answer. We may not be the right who to answer the question. We'll go find the right who, because we ain't afraid.
Yep. So thank you guys. Catch you
All
on
right. Until next time.